The CAS is a powerful class of Covenant capital ship which saw use throughout the Human Covenant War. Among the largest ships in the fleets of the Covenant, the CAS was designed to act as flagship for large Covenant forces, providing overwhelming firepower in fleet actions, and also supporting planetary assaults or glassing operations once enemy space forces had been pushed aside. The vessel has a length of 5,347 meters, width of 2,118 meters, and height of 700 meters. Well armed and armored with a layered nanolaminate armor plate covering the ship with a thickness of several meters in certain locations. However, this armor is rarely tested as the CAS's incredibly strong energy shields allow it to shrug off hits from even the most powerful UNSC MAC cannon without much apparent issue. The class is armed with an impressive number of weapon mounts, with one in furnace pattern excavation beam mounted ventrally, 2 Erpion pattern plasma lances, 8 Luxor pattern heavy plasma beam emitters, 24 Mictix pattern heavy plasma torpedo silos, 700 Ferial pattern pulse lasers, and an unknown number of small and medium plasma cannons. The CAS embarks a massive complement of ground troops and planetary combat vehicles, being capable of embarking a staggering number of fighters, bombers, corvettes, and even smaller cruisers in its cavernous hangar bays. The CAS featuring a single massive hangar complex rather than the traditional smaller individual bays most smaller Covenant ships feature. Internally, some CAS-class vessels will trade some of their hangar and troop barracks for a large onboard nature preserve, providing a natural space equivalent to several football fields within the vessel for the enjoyment of the ship's senior Sanghili officers, or even any prophets which may be traveling aboard the ship. All command and control areas of the vessel are located deep within the ship, beneath multiple layers of armor to ensure that they can continue in operation even as the vessel takes appalling combat damage. The ship can also, if needed, be split into 2 separate, smaller craft capable of independent operations, with the vessel's front head and aft section making up these 2 independent vessels. However, this operation is seldom done and has only been observed by the UNSC on a handful of occasions. It is not known precisely by the Office of Naval Intelligence when the CAS class entered service with the Covenant Armed Forces, but it is obvious that the vessel entered service at least prior to 2142 and the Battle of Bliss, when the first CAS class was observed in action during the capture and subsequent glassing of that world. During the course of the war, several more CAS-class starships were encountered by UNSC forces, several being destroyed during the war, but this was something of a rarity as the concentration of forces needed to defeat a CAS were oftentimes beyond the capabilities of the UNSC to muster during the course of the fighting. Notably, several ships of the class fought during the battles around Reach. Once the colony had fallen, several CAS-class vessels would participate in the glassing of the world, with many more subsequently taking part in the fighting around Tribute. Towards the end of the war, several CAS-class ships would lead the fleet of Sacred Consecration in its attack on Earth. A couple of these ships would be destroyed by orbiting MAC platforms and Spartan soldiers during the battle, however. This would be a high point of the class, as following the collapse of the Covenant Empire and the end of the war, CAS-class vessels have become much rarer sights among the fleets of the Covenant's successor states, with many destroyed during the fighting amongst these groups, or needing repairs beyond the ability of most groups which possess the ships are able to achieve. When they are encountered, CAS-class ships are the flagships of whatever fleet they are in. in some instances acting as mobile capitals in a miniature mimicry of the old Covenant capital of High Charity. Developed to deliver the righteous wrath of the Covenant Empire to worlds deserving it, the CAS was a highly successful vessel in Covenant forces, earning a feared reputation amongst the ranks of UNSC personnel and being a terrifying sight for the civilians of the worlds which attracted the attention of these behemoth vessels. Even after the fall of the Covenant, the ship remains a capable opponent for any enemy it faces, whether human or former Covenant warlord, and will likely remain in service as long as the factions operating the ship are able, due to the massive power such a ship represents. Thanks for watching this video. Usually non-Star Trek, Star Wars content doesn't get as big a view count on this channel due to the YouTube algorithm, but hey, I'm in this because I like spaceships, and Covenant ships are really, really cool, dang it, so I'm gonna make a video on it. This video, of course, is an older version of an earlier video I made years and years ago at this point, 2 years, maybe? I don't know. I don't keep track of time like that. It's been a while since I made the original video. It could use a refresh. The artwork in this I am really quite happy with. I do all my own artwork. Obviously, there's a big difference between the kind of like pixel art stuff that is mine and the more better artwork that makes up the bulk of the video, but I try to have a nice balance of original and official images of the ships. If you like the artwork, actually, it's on my Patreon, which is linked in the description below. The Patreon, actually, all of the pictures I use for the videos are available to anybody, so you don't need to be a member. You can just jump into the link, take the pictures, download them if you want, if that's something you're into. You can also support the channel on Patreon, but you know what? It's just easier to put the pictures there, and why not make them free? That's kind of a dumb thing to put behind a paywall, I think. Your mileage may vary. Yeah. I think that's about it. I've got a dog growling in the background wanting to play, so I'm probably going to take care of him. But, yeah, hope you enjoyed the video.